As a gay man of this age, I have something I want to say to the UPOS guys of a younger age. One of the reasons I wanted to share this is because I've had variants of this conversation with a few different people, and I've had various reactions in response, actually. Not all great. If you experience someone my age doing what feels like stigma to someone your age, you're not experiencing stigma. What you're experiencing is someone's trauma being reactivated. You're the HIV generation, we were the AIDS generation. For people my age, sex equaled death. Going through life associating sex with death rather than sex with, say, expression of personal pleasure. Sex is a piece of yourself. It wasn't just in our heads that people were going to die, of course. We all knew people who died. AIDS was a traumatizing, lethal, mysterious killer. HIV is an STI undergoing a social transition the way syphilis did after antibiotics showed up. Syphilis was a shameful disease that became, I guess I gotta get a shot for that. So like on the scale of STIs, for the AIDS generation, HIV was at the top of an STI mountain. I don't know where HIV falls in the STI scale for millennials and younger. Honestly, I'm not really sure why there's still stigma around it. Given the medications of today, it's actually in some ways less than herpes. I mean, herpes has no cure. It's highly contagious. Unlike HIV, it can flare. Herpes isn't prevented by a condom. And also, unlike HIV, there's nothing the other party can do to protect themselves the way you can with taking PrEP. We view the AIDS crisis as a disease crisis, but really, in addition to being a disease crisis, it was a sexuality crisis. But that disease crisis, because the end result was death and family shame, traumatized to varying degrees and in various ways an entire generation of gay men, to hardly mention I have no idea how it affected women, straight or gay, and because we haven't turned attention to it, we haven't given millennials and younger a way to decode the behavior of Gen X and older. Trauma doesn't learn from current reality. Trauma is the end of a sentence established in past reality. Trauma becomes disconnected from its original source. It becomes a snake eating its tail, where the source of the trauma is your reaction to the trauma. Trauma is in many ways a form of brainwashing, and I think brainwashing actually plays into the same psychological components of trauma, because both change the way you think, and no amount of outside data or data change can impact that conclusion. As far as trauma is concerned, there is no new reality. Reality has already been determined. This is it, period, the end, never to be reconsidered again. And if you try to reconsider it, here comes the traumatic reaction to stop you. That's how trauma operates. Which isn't to say you can't get out of trauma, but that's a whole other video. So what I'm saying is, at one point, our traumatic reaction and bringing that traumatic reaction into sex saved our lives. We're not a generation that birthed you in some way. We're just a generation that had a really shitty, scary time in sex. Those of us who made it, we are just trying to do our best to recapture something that was taken from us. And yeah, sometimes it's hard to do that with having that traumatic trigger reactivated. And instead of feeling stigmatized, how about respect? Not respect for us having done anything, but respect for the fact that it fucking sucked.
What is this?